So with React, we can output inline dynamic content. I know that this kind of sounds a little bit confusing, but let me show you with some code. It's real simple. Let's say that instead of returning "this is my new header," I want to show the date. So I'm going to say the date is, and now right here, I need to pass some dynamic content. I'm going to get the date in milliseconds from JavaScript. So I'm going to use curly braces. And inside the curly braces, we can put some logic right here. So I'm going to use vanilla ES5, sorry, vanilla JavaScript. And I'm going to say date now. This is going to return the date in milliseconds. So if I reload it and check it, the date is in milliseconds. So inside curly braces, we can do pretty much whatever we want as long as we return a single statement, a single expression. So let's say I want to print the year. So I'm gonna just save this. I'm gonna make it just like this, so it's a little bit more readable, but it's the same idea. So to return the date, for example, the year, first I need to create a variable that is gonna be called new date, and this one is gonna create an instance of date, just like this, date. And then if you wanted to get the year from there, we need to return the new date, just like this, and dot and get full year. So this is, again, it's vanilla JavaScript. So this one is not going to work. It's going to give us an error message because we are using two different expressions. First, we have the variable, and then we are doing the return. So this one, it's not going to work. But what we could do to solve this, we can create a function that returns that data. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say const get year, something like that. And then it's going to be just a fat arrow function. And this fat arrow function is going to do this logic. Let me cut it. I'm going to paste it. And we get the year, and this function only returns the year. So now, if I say get year, just like this, and I call to this function, it's going to give us back the year. So it's going to work. So, this is good. And you can do right here pretty much whatever you want, as long as you return a single expression. So we can do operations, kind of a 5 plus 5, that's going to work. We get the date is 10, it's good. Right here, the get year is assigned but never used. So I'm going to delete it just for now. So why is this important? Let's pretend that instead of a header, we have kind of a user profile. So we have an object of a user with all the data inside, and what we want to do, we want to render the user data. So I'm going to say const, then user is going to be equal to an object, and it's going to have a name, and the name is going to be Francis, of course. It's the first time for you in one of my courses, this is my main default user or name. It's Francis, and the last name, you guessed it, Jones. And let's say an age of 16. So this is really important. We just have an object. So now if we want to output a card, the card of a user, I'm gonna just put it just like this and enclose everything, remember, everything in parentheses. Just like that. And now this div is gonna be the main container. We can only output some JSX inside a container. And right here, I can just put div and make a reference to that object. It's going to be user.name. And if I wanted to get the last name, same thing, user.last name. So this is going to be the way the way we output dynamic data inside React and age. And if we go right here, we get Francis, Jones, and 16. So this is really, really simple, but we're going to be using this the whole time. So let's just pretend that this user is going to be validating if the user is able to access right here. So again, we can just run a function, check if the user is authorized to enter our page, our web page, our application, and right here we're going to just pass true or false. And this one is going to let the content, let the page load or not. We're going to do that later, of course. So okay, let's keep moving forward. We're going to be talking about types of components, and it's going to be really interesting. So let's go to the next one.